We're all BFFs at this point, aren't we?
Hello, Brian.
Hello. Man, we keep doing this, Charlotte. I'm going to be able to claim you on my taxes here pretty soon.
That's funny. I don't know. Yeah, that's true.
So let's talk some WrestleMania because it's right around the corner, obviously. What does it mean for you to have WrestleMania in the city where you currently live?
Well, I mean, not even that, making the travel easy. I just think to 10 years ago, sitting in the Citrus Bowl for the last time with my family, watching my dad retire. That's all I can think about. I literally can picture me, my little brother, driving from Charlotte down to Orlando. We got in at like 4:30 in the morning and going under, the bridge on 4 where it has Orlando, where you're passing the parks?
Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I just remember seeing that and being like, yeah, we're in Orlando. This is cool. Especially because as a WCW kid, we spent a lot of summers at Disney due to the tapings. So that's where my family always went for family vacations. And we thought it came full circle when my dad retired there because we spent the weekend, going to Universal, going to SeaWorld, doing all the things that we did as kids. And then watching my dad's last match with WWE, we just thought, wow, life has come full circle. And then 10 years later, he won't be the last Flair to walk out in the Citrus Bowl, now the camping arena. It's crazy to think that, because definitely 10 years ago, I just thought, wow, when I'm 30, I'm going to be this old lady with 3 kids. And I don't know. I just never pictured my life here. So I look at pictures from WrestleMania 24 and I can't, it's mind blowing to me, and I'm in it.
What do you think your reaction would have been 10 years ago if, like, future you could have talked to present day you then to say, hey, guess what? A decade later, this is what you're going to be doing. You're going to be, a major star in WWE, and you're going to be doing this for a living.
I would have laughed, because not only did we sit front row, but my dad was the first active inductee, and me, my little brother, my big brother, and my sister all accepted his Hall of Fame ring because he was going to be wrestling. And I remember being in Gorilla, like shaking and my lips quivering, thinking I have to walk out on stage in front of all these people and on television. And then I remember thinking, my dad does this every night. And then thinking, well, not only does he do this every night, all I have to do is stand there. And I'm not even exaggerating. Like, that's how different of a person I am today than I was back. I mean, I was just nervous to do that. And thinking, I remember walking backstage and seeing Michelle McCool sitting in a chair, getting her makeup done, just thinking how glamorous and beautiful and how awe I was of her. And she just happened to be sitting there, but I wouldn't have believed it. I would have never pictured myself in that chair.
Well, what do you think it's going to be like here in Orlando over the next couple of months as WWE starts to take over the city?
Well, I'm going to feel right at home. I think it's great, especially too with the NXT roots. Orlando is home of NXT, and to know that for a lot of the superstars on the WrestleMania card this year, NXT was first their home, and to know it's coming full circle from being at Full Sail to now at the stadium. I think it's going to be special for a lot of the talent. I think it's going to be special for a lot of the families. And in general, WrestleMania is a week-long event, and there are a lot of things to do in Orlando. So to add the magic that Orlando has with, Disney and what it means to families, also with WrestleMania being in town with that same kind of feeling, it's going to be a magical weekend. I know it sounds corny, but I really feel that way about it. And it's an open stadium. Open stadiums, I feel, have a different vibe than closed arenas.
What do you think is the biggest difference about that? Because I know there's some people that say it's tougher in an open arena simply because all of the noise it doesn't like circle around the ring and stay right there. It kind of goes up in the air and sometimes escapes the stadium.
Well, WrestleMania last year obviously was my first WrestleMania, and I had a hard time at AT&T Stadium. Then again, there was 101,000 people, just with the delayed reaction and listening to the audience. So I have heard that it's more difficult, but I really won't be able to feel it till I'm out there experiencing it for myself. But I'm just more excited because it's going to be a completely different atmosphere than last year. And being in Florida, the sun and it's open. I mean, it's going to be completely different. But in terms of, I'll have to improvise as I go with the noise.
You mentioned NXT, and you're one of the people that obviously you got to experience NXT as it was really becoming the brand that it is today. And obviously, you've now been, in the main stage of WWE as well. Can you explain the differences between the two, or just what that NXT experience is like? Because it's a little bit different, it's a little bit more unique because it's a little bit of a smaller audience, but at the same time, it's very passionate.
Well, NXT is very special to me because I'm NXT homegrown, and you can't talk to a lot of the talent, and then most of the talent today had prior experience or come from different promotions. But for me, NXT, one, that's where I learned how to wrestle. It's the only place I've wrestled other than the main roster, and I was the second to hold the NXT Women's title, and with Paige and Emma setting the bar for women's wrestling and being a part of the growing women's wrestling sensation down in NXT, and the fans with the 500, 600 people that Full Sail holds, it's a completely different feel, and they are very passionate, which almost makes you have to be that much better because you're dealing with a more knowledgeable audience and an audience that is very passionate about the product in general. So, on the main roster, you get all kinds of fans, casual fans, children, the diehards, just every kind of fan you can think of. But NXT is a very unique fan base. So, if you can wrestle in front of those fans, you can wrestle in front of any audience. But the difference in schedule and promotion, and there's the main roster is you either make it or you don't, because it is very demanding. And NXT, it is taped. There aren't as many pay-per-views. You get to practice. I mean, up here, it is 24/7, go, go, go. And either you thrive in this atmosphere or you don't.
Now, if we go back to last year's event as well, when it came to WrestleMania, obviously that's when the Women's Championship came back, changing from the Divas Championship. What was that experience like to be a part of that? And how do you feel the women have done, in growing the division over this past year and making it to what it is now?
Oh, wow. I was extremely honored. And being the bad guy that I was last year, it was extremely hard for me to hold back tears because I wanted, to have that moment where it just didn't, to know that, one, to have the opportunity to be on the card, but then to be with the two women that I grew up with in NXT, and sharing that moment and having my dad out there. I just wanted to break down and just let all of the pressure come out in my tears. But I was a bad guy. I was like, just hold it together till you get back to that back curtain. But it meant a lot. I was very proud of the Divas title, but winning the Women's Championship was as exciting, but it was more the fact that I knew the company was making a executive decision to put more emphasis on the women. That's why they gave us a new title just to update the division. So, and to know that they were choosing me to represent that title at that moment, which will be replayed for years and years and years, it meant a lot. And I get goosebumps thinking about it.
You mentioned being the bad guy. So how do you learn to become mean?
Well, the character developed because the fans were so brutal to me. Well, honestly, it's easier to cover up being nervous through being mean, but no one likes to be the bad guy, and I want to play that role because it's easier to please people. I mean, because like the constant people get so mad at me on Twitter. Like when I disowned my dad, like a couple times, I'm like, oh, I really want to just tweet, guys. It's not real, but it's just my job and playing it well. And so when I first started, the fans were brutal to me, and I just said, oh, you don't think I can do it? Watch me. And that's how I just kept continuing to work at it and took Charlotte's character to the next level, was due to a bunch of criticism.
Yeah. Well, how do you deal with fans when they're chanting? Well, you're in the middle of talking in the ring and fans start interrupting. They start chanting. They start doing what chants? What have you learned to play off of that?
Well, I learned that one, they want to be interacted with. So it's feeling comfortable enough to stop thinking about the script for a second, acknowledge them, but then bring the focus back to you. And these are all things that I think about all day, every day. I just want to get better at it. I want to be able to control an arena, and also knowing your character. And I feel that I can do that and can be able to deal with the what chance because I know Charlotte's character. I know what she'll do at any time. Like whether it's called whether it's calling peasants or the queen, the queen's talking, I don't know, but I know that character. So if you know your character, it's easier to do that. Whereas the babyface Charlotte, I wouldn't have known what to do.
Yeah. Well, I can tell that you really feed off the booze now, which you could see that kind of coming out now. So, but here's the thing. So, I mean, we've talked several times. I know you're a really good person. You're really nice. You're really fun. And you're playing this character on TV. So what part of the character is actually you? I mean, how much are you like the character you portray?
Well, the one thing that I am extremely confident in is my athletic ability. My dad has had me in sports since I was a little girl, and I'm extremely mentally tough because I've played Division I sports. So I take my confidence with my athletic ability and just, yes, I come out extremely arrogant, but what I'm arrogant about is what the people don't know. The people think that I'm arrogant because I'm Ric Flair's daughter. So, but what I am confident about is my athletic ability. So what I'm showing is my confidence in my athletic ability, but when the audience sees me, they just think, oh, that's Charlotte Flair. She thinks she's better than everyone, or she only has a job because of her dad. So like people can, if I can dress that up with a robe, like if I can take my athletic background and put a robe and some makeup on, and people think, oh, that's that character. That's very true to who I am. Like I'm very confident in being a strong, independent woman and standing, for, the women's division as a whole. And yes, that sounds like a babyface line, but if you add, and I think I'm genetically superior, and I think I'm the greatest athlete or whatever, then you can, have that heel turn. So it's just like, it's making people think one thing when it's just having different sources. My sources aren't what the audience thinks the sources are. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely does. So,
in reality, my dad's the greatest of all time. like I have to live up to that every day. No one really knows what kind of pressure that is. But if I can hide that pressure and show it in a different way, then that helps the character.
Right. I think you hide it pretty well.
Thank you.
I mean, I can't imagine being out in front of that many people. Then on top of that, having that kind of expectations. And I think you've done tremendously well with it and continue to get better. So, you know, at this point, the way that you keep racking up women's championships, so you're going to catch your dad's record here pretty soon.
I don't know. I don't really think about it.
It's coming.
I mean, like everyone, you know, thinks it's happened fast, but I mean,
maybe not to you because you're living it.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean, it is crazy to think that way, but I don't really think about the number. I just think about what I meant to the title.
Right.
And I hope that's what the fans take away.
Last thing. So how far are you in the planning stages for your entrance and wardrobe for WrestleMania?
Oh, you have no idea. I was just talking to our media rep this morning about it. I do have a robe planned, and it's going to be spectacular, I hope. And it's one of my dad's themes, so.
I'm hoping it's white.
Oh, I wear way too much spray tan for that. One day I'll have a white one.
It's funny because white, so many people just think, oh, that instantly means, you know, that's a nice look, whatever. I love it when like heels wear white. There's something about that.
Oh, Seth Rollins when he wore his all white.
Oh,
great.
Oh, when he went, Queetleen singer out there. Yeah. That was great.
Yeah.
That was good. So cool. Well, thanks for the time. I really appreciate it.
Very cool. Thank you, Brian.